Hello, this is Edwin from Edwin, and this is my deck profile on Dragonic Overlord at the end. I didn't make a deck profile yet because I wanted to use this deck for the... Maybe I did want to use this deck for the qualifier, but I decided to go with ODT because of the consistency. Not getting great stuck in the best of one format is pretty nice, I guess. And if I don't cross-ride, this deck is crap. So, well, not really crap, but it isn't as good as it should be. For the starter, I use Conroe because obviously you can search out any great one. It's the best starter for Cargo right now, so why not run it? I'm going to suggest running a Ride Chain along with Overlord at the end, so yeah, Conroe. Grade 3 lineup for Overlord at the end. One is SP, because if you ride the SP, chances of you hitting triggers is going to increase by 40%. That has been tested by me and Sunny during some special scientific testing. Well, not really, but I just built this one randomly out of a booster, so I guess that's okay. Yeah, basic. I'll go on the text for this deck later on, so for Overlord again. And for Dragonic Overlord, because you can't fix your cross-ride, so that's why. You want to ride this card first, and then ride Overlord at the end, because of obvious reason, because Overlord at the end is going to be 13k. So that's why I run for Overlord. Also, I run this one instead of the trial deck one because this one's more awesome. Even though this one is cheaper than the trial deck one for some random reason. I guess people didn't like it looking more awesome than the trial deck version, but oh well. Yeah. And next I run the grade 2 lineup. Oops. I run Forney Harlem. I don't run Striken because, like a lot of decks right now, have a Pioneer starting Vanguard. Pioneer means that it can go back once you rally grade 1 over it. That's why I don't run Striken, because then they will have a booster, so Striken's effect will be useless, so it will only help against early game rushing. But it also makes me unable to attack the opponent. So let's say I have Striken here and have any Harlem there, or Striken, and I can just attack with this one. But my charge check could have been a crit for all I know. So that's why I don't I run Striken. Not only that, this deck is really slow, but I'll go about that later on. Well, for Harlem, because I want to ride a 10k, and it's a good against the Sealer Blaster, because if they ride Blaster Blade and the attack before 14, I block for 10. And no pass, so no MLB early game effect for them. Next I run for Burning Horn, because Burning Horn is a 12k attacker, and that's pretty much it. 12k attacker makes hitting crossfights a lot easier, so that's why I run for Burning Horn. Not only that, it's one of the better regars for Conqueror right now if you're running Overlord at the end. And the last few, I run 2 Tages. I run Tages and 1 Berserk, because I was running 3 Tages first, but 3 was too much because I didn't want to ride an 8k. And running 2 Berserk is just meh, because it's like with the Starcraft Trumpeter I run in my used to run in my MLB deck. If you have it in your hand, you can either use it or guard with it. It's like use it or let it die or go away, because it's not exactly like a dead card. And if you have a hand like this, you can just choose I don't have Counterblast open for this one, so I'll just use Stages instead and attack the back row, because this card is never really dead if they have a full field. If they don't have a full field, it's dead, but if they have a full field, this one isn't dead, because then you can always just attack because it has to attack in the same line. But yeah, and this one you can counter +1 for a 2, for +1, and -1 for them, so it's +1 for you. But if they have annoying 8k booster, you can just call Berserk and retire their 8k booster, so they cannot hit your crossride again. What I always say when I play this deck is you're not playing to win, but you're playing to survive, but I'll go on that later on. Yeah, so that's my grade 2 lineup. For the grade 1s, I run 4 Barry, because perfect cards are good. I run 4 because there are stupid things like MLB and Azel that can hit for sick numbers every time if they use their effect the whole time. And well, if you're playing as a total sec, but that's not only that, like, you can search out with Conroe, but if you're not running 3 and 2 end up in the damage zone, you're screwed, so that's why I run 4. Like in some decks I would only run 3, but in this deck I want to play defensive, so games tend to get tend to get a bit longer than usual. Next I run 4 bar. Yeah, cause bar is good. Makes hitting cross fights a lot easier, and this one with Burning Grenades for 20, so I guess that's good against things like Gold Paladins. Well, not if you're playing against Spectral Tube Dragon, but I guess it's a good card. Well, I'm not guessing it's really good card, but yeah. And I run 3 Chimeras. I only run 3 because you don't want to ride this one, and you don't want to, like, you want this one to retire and annoy the opponent. And you don't want to ride this one because that's bad. Riding Chimera, like riding a 6k, getting rushed by din range and stuff isn't really fun. So that's why I only run 3. And you basically, like, thing you do is just retire the boosters that make you block for a lot, like the 8k boosters or 7k boosters. But we'll go onto that later. Next I run 2 Gojos. Basically filter if you have it early game, but I run it because it's 7k and there's a decent effect, so it can hit for 18 with Overlord in the front. That's why I run these, and with Warning 1 hit for 19, so you can attack their Burning Horn or Bedivere or Masquerades. So I have to block for 15, so I guess that's okay. Yeah, 2 Gojos. And I run 1 Airmo because of Conroe. But yeah, Airmo is pretty much just a filter. Like, if you boost it and the attack hits, you can drop 1 card and draw 1. But it's pretty much just filter, just in case you don't have Dragonic Overlord in your hand. So that's why I'm running 1 Airmo. And I'll explain later how my usual game will progress. But trigger line up, run 5 draw. I run different draws because it's fun, but 3 of like this one is the most important one. Like, if they're playing Gold Paladins, retire their booster, like Gear for Spring Breeze. Well, you don't really need to retire Gear, but Spring Breeze is kind of painful. Like, if they hit and they get Pelennor off, it's kind of annoying. So that's why if you retire this one, and you can even block for 10 if you want, because then they cannot hit you anymore. So that's why I guess these draws are nice. Well, obviously if I'm running 5 draws, I'm running 7 crits. I guess you could run 6 draw, 6 crit, but I like running 5 just because it's a drop number. Next, I run 4 heals, because heals are good. Like, not running heals is bad. Like, yeah, you get outcritted, you don't heal, have fun. So, yeah. Because double crit and not healing, I guess it's bad. Okay, so let's see how this deck would work usually for me, I guess. Well, first turn, I'm so good at this game, so right bar, yay. Okay, they attack, damage check, la la la. Next turn, I have a damage, 1 damage, and let's say I ride Nihal. Okay, and well, my hand is crap and I only have Overlord, yeah, there's some random stuff in there. So I want to get Dragonic Overlord. So I use Connor's effect to get Airmo. Okay, get Airmo. Dun. I'll attack, swing, yay, hit, drop a card. Well, let's say I have 2 Overlord hands, I'm gonna get drop Overlord hand, and I get Dragonic Overlord. Well, maybe you were like, why did you get drop Dragonic Overlord hand? Well, because I had 2 in my hand, and not only that, I want to get the crosshead off. Like, getting their crosshead off is more important than getting his own effect off, because you gain that 13k advantage. If they can hit with any stupid trigger like Pelennor and Dindrain, combined 16, so if they can hit you with that, it's kind of annoying, because then the deck mainly uses its focus, because you cannot guard for 5 every time. That's what you want to do. Like, you want to guard for cheap with this deck. That's why I was calling it you're playing either to survive instead of playing to win, because you want to, like, not only do you want to have the 13k off, like you want to tank it, the attacks from the opponent, but you also want to pressure them while guarding for cheap. So you're essentially like trying to out plus the opponent. Like, let's say the opponent's playing gold paladins, so I have this one and well, this one is bad, and bar. Okay, let's say I'm cross-ridden, so I'll attack your opponent for 21. That's a lot of cards. They have to block for either for 20 or take it. Well, let's say their hand is shit. Okay, they'll take it. Okay, I crit once and a normal thing, and restand. That's kind of painful. So they're obviously going to block this one. But even though they're playing gold balance, like they want to, even though, or like OTT, they plus so much, they have a shitloads of cards in their hand, they'll block this. Unless they're stupid, they will block this card. Or unless you're a total sack and double crit and put all on Vanguard, and then he heals, and then you restand this one with double critical, with 3 critical and 23k. But yeah, in any case, they'll block this card because they don't want you to get another Twin Drive. It's like with Pelennor, but with Pelennor is more random than this one, and this one is more consistent, and it has the 13k. Yeah, that's pretty much the main tactic of this deck. So, okay, I'm 13k, opponents go attack, la la. Going to hit me for 18. Okay, I see their 8k booster, retire with Kimnara. That's like one of the main plays I do. Or I just call Tejas. Let's get Tejas. Okay, I call Tejas, swing at her booster. Okay, buy booster. So it's stuff like that, or even I can call Berserker if I want to, and okay, retire to 8k boost. So it's pretty much just trying to survive while pressuring the opponent. That's what this deck is all about. Like, this deck is not like gold paladins. You rush to your opponent like a madman and try to get that early game. Like, that's what Superior Right, Azel, and Pelennor actually does. Like, the only thing they do is, like, even Duke, if you get right enough, is early game pressure, and that's pretty much the main weakness of this deck, because the deck is so slow. You have to write this one first, and this one, then Overlord the end. This is kind of, this is a lot slower than, let's say, gold paladins, because they can, like, you want two things. Like, you want to cross ride. So okay, you want to do this, but you also want to maintain your hand, because if, for example, if they get like, they will rush you. It's not fine if they rush you, because if they get a critical and you don't, and they get a draw, for example, maybe, then it's kind of hard for you to outplay them, because they will have the hand advantage and damage advantage at the same time. That's why you want to maintain your hand to block your opponent's attacks. You don't want to get outrushed by your opponent. So that's one of the main weaknesses of deck, is if a player knows how to rush, and if a player knows what to attack and how to guard accordingly against this deck. Because a lot of decks right now, especially God Paladin, Souls OTT, Tsukiyama OTT, Phantom Blaster Overlord even, Shadow Paladins, because they can gain a huge hand advantage over this deck. And you'll be like, well, maybe they'll just take a stack. Well, they won't if they're any good. If they're a bad player, obviously they will take this attack, but that doesn't mean that you won by pure skill. It doesn't mean that you won because they're total idiots. If you're playing against a good player, they're going to block this attack from this card, even if you attack the rear guard. I mean, that's a good play, by the way. You can always, like, let's say they have an 8k right there, I will swing at their Vanguard for 13, so they have to block for 15. If they have Nemen, they have to block for 20, just from this card, without a boost, so that's good. Yeah, that's one of the main plays of this deck, and like, that's also one of the main reasons I don't run Balakotsti Dragon, is because it takes up space, and you can only get that effect off. Well, you can get that effect off later on, but you usually get the effect of doing the grade 2, right? But it also means that you also need a better booster if you have a 10k Vanguard. So let's say you get ammo. So 18 for 15. So that's why I don't run the Envelope but the Gusty Dragon. Yeah. One more thing though, if you're playing against stuff that can get you, like if they have running MLB and they can get the effect of early game, or you think they can, well, not only do you have to block early, I suggest getting a perfect guard through gun row if they're running MLB, just in case they do get that effect off and you want to block against its 2 critical. If they 2 critic you and you're at 3 damage and they get only crit, they win. So I guess you would want to block against that attack. So that's one more thing. But that's pretty much the stack, and I think it's a pretty long video. If you guys want to if you guys have any more questions about the deck, just ask. And yeah, and if you just want to see a certain deck profile out there, I can probably fix it. I'll might post up a video more about some more common plays against cross-right decks and stuff. So yeah, so basically that was my Overlord the End deck, and see you guys at the next video. Bye.